Oh hey guys, it's Ren here over at the Hungry Heart Home. If you are new here, I do home decor, lifestyle, and organizational vlogs. I upload every Thursday, so if that's something you're interested in taking a peek at and seeing more of, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button on this video if you enjoy this content. Super excited to get into today's video with you guys. We're gonna be deep cleaning and organizing the fridge, which was much needed in our household this week. So if that is something that you are interested in taking a peek at, be sure to keep watching. All right guys, I've got my morning coffee and I went to go sit down in the front room, and it was time to get in my Instacart order. I needed lots of fresh veggies and fruits for the fridge for this week, and since the pandemic has started, I prefer to do Instacart orders. It's super handy. I love that I can do it all on my phone while snuggling with the pups on the couch in the morning, enjoying my coffee. So I got my order in and was excited to get started working on the kitchen. The dogs were obviously crazy as usual, so my order was complete and I knew it was time to get started. I was jamming out to some Taylor Swift all throughout this video, if you saw me lip syncing there. First order of attack was to grab my mason jars out of the dishwasher. I cleaned them last night because they had been in the dark corner of my pantry, which you might have seen in my pantry clean out video, but they needed a little cleaning before I filled them up with veggies and fruits. I got these plastic lids that are toppers for mason jars. They're a lot easier to use than the typical metal canning lids that you get, and they're much easier to clean. They don't rust, so I got all of that ready to go. And then before we got into the real heavy duty work, I decided it was time to light a candle and just have some delightful scents flowing in the kitchen this morning. I am loving this candle that I picked up. It's from Bath & Body Works. Gonna zoom in here to show you guys. The Southern Magnolia scent is awesome. If you're looking for a nice spring scent, I'm loving it. I moved all of the mason jars onto the stove just to give myself a little bit more room. I also picked up some other organizational pieces for the fridge. This one is for eggs. These ones are for soda cans, which my husband drinks a lot of, so those will come in handy. And then just some general storage bins there. So I got it all lined up and ready to get started. Now I'm going to show you guys where we're starting. To be honest, I don't think I've ever organized this fridge since we've moved in, which for me is not normal. I like everything to be in its place, and this has just been a hot mess since we moved in 2019. So it was definitely time to give this fridge not only a deep cleaning, but really organize everything. Nothing makes sense, like everything is just kind of everywhere. I mean, I didn't even have the butter fridge door closed. I have, you know, pickles with barbecue sauce and hot sauce and a jar of Baileys from the holidays, which might not even be good anymore. So as I was pulling everything out of the fridge, I was sure to take a look at any expiration dates because who knows what's floating around in there. Getting it all out so that I can really give the fridge a good wipe down. It's very necessary. I probably haven't cleaned inside the fridge since we moved in. I got everything pulled out, and all I needed now was just to grab a couple different produce pieces out of our produce bins here. So I went to just go grab out those last things that were still in the fridge, and then I grabbed my trusty Dyson and got to vacuuming up any little bits and knobs that were floating around in the fridge that I could suck up easily before giving the fridge a good wipe down. I am in love with my Dyson, but it was a little bit big to get in the nooks and crannies of the fridge, I won't lie, but in general I love it. So I was just getting all of the little bins here, get any little dirt sucked out. Good to go. And now that that is done, I was starting to get a little sweaty, so it was time to put my hair up in a ratty little ponytail and really get to work on this kitchen. I was actually, if we're being real, sweating a little bit. So this was very, very necessary. Get my long hair out of the way. So now it's time to clean the fridge. Now, when it comes to cleaning products for inside of your fridge, you don't want to use any harsh chemicals. Food is very absorbent, so the best thing you can do is just some warm water and baking soda. And to be honest, you'll be surprised. It lifts up pretty much anything you need to, any kind of heavier gunk that you need to get out. Pull those trays out and clean them. Make sure you wipe them down really well before you put them back in. Because again, any chemicals or scents on there is going to absorb into your food, and that is a no-go. So I was wiping down all of the surfaces in the fridge with the baking soda and warm water, and really just making sure to get in all the nooks and crannies. Once I was done that, then I grabbed a dry rag just to dry everything off and make sure there was no residue left on any of the shelves. That way I don't have any powder residue or anything like that left, a nice clean surface to work with. So my Instacart order came in right as I was just finishing cleaning the fridge, which kind of worked out. But this was kind of the point where I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Because it looked like a bomb went off in the kitchen. So I knew it was time to really get to work. I pulled out my organizational bins that I had grabbed and started just trying to decipher A, which way the bins were gonna go, and B, what stuff was gonna go in each bin. What I really didn't like about the fridge beforehand was that it was like sweet stuff mixed with cooking stuff, mixed with, condiments, and it just didn't really make sense. So I tried to organize these bins as much as possible to make sure that the things that were going in them kind of made sense together. So the first bin that I did there was sweets like jams and such like that. The second one that I was pulling together was mainly cooking stuff. So like sun-dried tomatoes, pestos, ginger, lemongrass, cooking sauces, so that those were all together. And that way, when I need to go pull those pieces out of the fridge, I really know what I'm looking for and where to look for it. So it would make a lot more sense. You can see I played around with the bins a bunch just to kind of figure it out. Once I got those first two bins done, I pulled out my eggs. I did have more in my Instacart order, which I ended up filling up this bin with later, but I wanted to just kind of get those ones in there. And then I was working on another bin. This one I tried to do mainly condiments, so mayo and things like that. Here's my sweets one with kind of chocolate syrups and maraschino cherries and jams. And then this one, like I said, was the cooking one. So it has all of my kind of cooking condiments, more so. These soup bins I ended up moving somewhere else in the fridge, but for now that's where they were. I was playing around with the shelves in my fridge. It actually never changed them since we got the fridge installed, and I really needed it to just make a little bit more sense to fit those bins down on the bottom row. I didn't really want them necessarily to be eye level, and so moving those shelves up allowed me just to kind of get that extra space up at the top and not so much stuff at the bottom. I wanted eye level stuff to be foods and healthy stuff as opposed to condiments. So as I was putting the bins in, you can see I was finding pieces that didn't necessarily work with where I had the shelves, but it wasn't really an option to move the shelves to any different heights. So I just pulled out the few items that didn't work, and then I got to work in filling up the rest of the fridge. So down here I was doing our dairy and kind of coffee creamers, and I pulled in the bins with the soda in them, and I love having these. I don't know why I haven't had them since we got the fridge. Once I got in the main stuff that I had originally, I got into my grocery order from Instacart and started working my way through that. So this was mainly my fresh veggies and fruits for the week, which was what I wanted to chop up and put in my mason jars. I find that if things aren't easy, I just don't eat them. And this is something that I used to do when I was on keto. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not dieting, but when I did do keto, I really had everything prepped and just ready to pull out of the fridge and easy to eat for myself every week. And it just ensured that I ate healthier stuff. So I was getting all of the produce rinsed off and clean before getting it chopped up and ready to go in the mason jars, getting all of the stickers and ick off of that. I picked up these heirloom tomatoes this week and they're so beautiful. I don't even know if I'm going to want to cut into them. So once I got all of that on the go, then it was time to start filling my mason jars. Now I went with the easiest stuff first, obviously blueberries. I could just throw right into those jars with no problem at all. I love these plastic lids. They just look so nice aesthetically, and they are easy to clean. They don't rust like the canning lids do. So I got to chopping up some strawberries as well. These are ones that I want to have in little parfait breakfast bowls in the morning. So I knew I wanted to have these in slices. So I was getting that done for the week, getting those all ready to go. And then I picked all the grapes off of the vines. I find they're just easier to pop when they're all ready for you. You don't have to think about it as a snack and get out the bag and rinse them. They're all rinsed and ready to go. So I just picked those all off and got them in the jar. Now, generally I won't buy pre-chopped vegetables and fruit, but when it comes to a pineapple, that is a tricky beast. So I got the pre-cut one and then sliced it into smaller pieces to put into my mason jar for the fridge. And then I got into a cantaloupe, which is one of my favorite snacks to have. I got that all ready to go so I could chop that up again into smaller pieces to go into the mason jars. Again, all of this is coming down to what's gonna make it easiest for me. I love to have fresh lemon in my water, so I always have chopped lemon in the fridge. So I was just getting that ready for the week as well. If you don't do this, I don't know what it is about it, but it just makes a glass of water taste so much better to me. I was getting my watermelon all cut up and ready too. Now this is one that sometimes, if they look really fresh in the grocery store, I'll grab a pre-chopped one as well because it's a pretty big task. But since I wasn't doing the grocery shopping myself, I knew this was the safest bet. Now cucumbers is something I'm going to use for a couple salads this week as well as to snack on. So I actually decided to chop these up. I got 2 of them and chopped them up different sizes. These ones will be easy to toss into salads. I know already that I'm going to be making a Greek salad this week, so that chopping will already be done. My little scavengers were looking for a snack, so of course I had to toss them a little piece of cucumber. It's one of their favorite treats. And then I chopped these ones up so that they're a little bit easier to snack on. I always give the jars a good shake. It allows you to get a little bit more into each jar. Now, I grabbed these Baker Mason jars here and filled them with water. I like to keep my herbs in the fridge in mason jars because they last a lot longer and stay fresher longer, and really they look so much more aesthetically pleasing. I hate having those ratty little bags in your produce drawers of rotting herbs. This is just so much more effective, and it looks really pretty too. So once I got that all done and ready to go in the fridge, then I basically was ready to pull in the rest of it. I put all of my fruit and veggies for the week that I had chopped up on the top shelf, so they're right at eye level and easy to grab for a snack. And I had an extra bin left, which I filled up with some other veggies. I had my yogurt that I had to figure out. So I was just kind of shimmying things around in there and figuring out where was the best spot for everything that was left to go in the fridge. But I did get it all figured out, and it looks so beautiful in the end. I'm so excited to show this to you guys. Lastly, I popped in my herbs into this bottom fridge door here, and we were good to go. Look how cute they look. Like I can't even handle it. So I finished tidying up the kitchen because it was a hot mess. It looked like a tornado ran through it after all of that. And now I can give you guys the final tour of the all organized, beautiful fridge. It is so much more aesthetically pleasing than before. So we have all of our fruits and veggies up here, easy to grab, ready and chopped for the week. I've got my yogurt for my breakfast bowls. I've got some mangoes and heirloom tomatoes and avocados in there. All of these bins just really house everything all together. In my produce drawers, I have overstock of some of the veggies and fruits that I cut up for the week. And then down here in our meat drawer, we have our cheeses and meats and deli meats. I had some corn that I didn't have space for, so it ended up there too. I did actually whip up some of our favorite salad dressings. This one's a Caesar salad and this one's a jalapeno ranch. I prefer to make our salad dressings, so I usually have fresh ones in the fridge. And then here's the herbs. Oh, they make me so happy. And on this side, we have all our dairy. I have a little random shelf there and then all our pickles on the top, but she just looks so beautiful and I couldn't be happier with how she turned out. Well, thanks guys for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you are inspired to get your own fridge ready for spring. Love y'all, and I'll catch you next week.